Try to do the, you hopefully get the best of both worlds in terms of being able to play two close scrimmages, which you get challenged in, especially if you play a couple different types of styles that are unique, and then hopefully you get some fans in here tonight where you can kind of get the exhibition type of game jitters out before the opener. So hopefully it goes well.
What did you learn about your team in the two scrimmages you had?
I think we played better overall. I think we probably played better, but then you still obviously have more questions than last year's team because you had obviously you have the injury to Andre, but then you don't have people that have done it for you at the level that we need them to do it for us this year. There's obviously talent and people that you feel like could do it, but until they've actually done it for you, you don't.
Right. So did you come out feeling better, or just the same? Or is there just not that feeling at all?
No, you see the potential. Obviously, you see. You see the potential. You see the things that you liked about the way you put the group together, and then you see the question marks about the group as well that the team is going to have to answer. Obviously, can we play with that toughness? I have not liked the defensive end of the court. I've liked the offensive end of the court. I've not liked the defensive end of the court. So that toughness question looms, especially because we have a reputation of how we show up on game night that we just haven't been able to get to in terms of playing with that, that passion, that relentlessness, and so we're trying to develop that still.
Who have you liked so far at the one in terms of practice?
Yeah, we're I think we're just with Tristan and Haas there. You've got two guys that bring different things to the position. I think Hassan's just his aggressive attacking mentality, and just he's kind of like your eyes get drawn to him because he's all over the court. He's got to kind of reel it in and play. I'd say the biggest issue for him, he could really help us this year. If he could take care of the ball, he could be a real big factor for us. And then Tristan's about we kind of just getting him to be a little bit more aggressive, more assertive. Hopefully he plays that way tonight. But very high on Jordan with where he's at going into the season. But we need that second perimeter scorer, and then we really need that Tristan to jump into that.
Is Caravan one of those answers? He's been shooting pretty well, hasn't
he? Yeah, we love the four right now, and trying to also maybe experiment a little bit with can we play Samson and Alex together with a center, because those two guys are especially from an offensive standpoint, when Alex is in there, it makes a real difference. And then Samson, he brings different things offensively, but his athleticism and the things he could do on both backboards, and then just slashing and above the rim. We're our four spot. It's young, but it's talented.
Alex has been back in practice, and he played Saturday?
Yeah, he was able to get in there, and he wouldn't. He might have gotten a day. I think it was he missed several days, but he did get a kind of a 50% live day before the scrimmage, and just important for him to get up and down. He hasn't played in a while, and then he tweaked it again a little bit, and but he's going to go tonight just to try to get a little bit of those jitters out, and just getting some game type of feel experience for him is critical right now. But those two guys look good.
Is everybody else other than Andre ready to go tonight? And how is Andre?
Yeah, Andre's good. And tonight's format, we're going to just play 3 10-minute quarters. So we're going to treat it a little bit like it's a game and mix the teams up a little bit. as we're still deliberating, a starting spot or two here. But everyone's healthy, at least going into this year. Everyone but Andre, and Andre has returned and started to do some like non-live type of defensive type of thing. So next, I think every week here he's going to take a bigger step forward with his health.
Dan, is there a configuration where for long stretches you'll play Hassan and Tristan together?
Yeah, I think we definitely could do that. I think we're going to need to do that because we need the scoring from Tristan. I think we know that just the way that Jordan has approached these these two game-like opportunities, that Jordan's ready to go. He's ready to fire. He's super aggressive, and but who's that other perimeter scorer going to be? And so getting him off the ball and playing him with Haas is definitely something we want to do, because we need Haas' spirit on the court. We need how hard he plays and that passion. It's like a big East Northeastern attribute, and it's the way we've built this program. So yeah, you'll see them together.
Dan, the toughness and the defensive end concerns that you expressed, is that above and beyond what you would normally feel this time of year, or is it?
Yeah, it's above and beyond. It's above and beyond because we haven't guarded well in either scrimmage. We haven't guarded well individually and then collectively, and then you're also tinkering with ball screen defense. Relative to losing maybe the best ball screen defender in the country in Isaiah Whaley, and ball screen defense is 80% of pretty much what you're dealing with on a gamely basis, maybe 70-80%. So you lost maybe the best ball screen hedger in the country that just blew up the other team's ball screen offense. So we've got to improve there, and we're tinkering with some things, and obviously not having Andre. Andre is just our identity. I mean, he's the leader. Him and Adama are the leaders, but he's a tone setter, and we miss his toughness. We miss his direction out there. He plays with force, and we need him back.
Have you benefited at all with him out? Has somebody stepped up a little bit?
Not from a defensive standpoint, but it's been good to have just more time to coach these other guys. If there's any silver lining, it's given us more time with the transfers. It's given us more time with the young front court players. It's given us more time, I think, to focus on like getting Jordan, mentally ready for the responsibility of having to deliver on a nightly basis on the perimeter. So yeah, I mean, it's given us more time. So it's helped.
How do you evaluate your rebounding so far? Are you happy with it?
We've rebounded well. I was happy with the rebounding. It was the rebounding not as dominant on the offensive glass, but again, you lost some. You lost some dogs there. I mean, guys that went and got it for you, but we've rebounded well. That is not. We've played offensively. We've been very efficient. It's just the defensive end and the toughness and the camaraderie when you do have so many new pieces and they're older.
Toughness is something you can't really teach, right? I mean, so how do you get this team to be tougher?
Yeah, I mean, you guilt. I don't know. Video. You challenge. You challenge them in practice. You meet with them privately. You challenge them on the practice floor. You let them know obviously how important it is to winning and winning a championship in our league, and being a top program. There's no top program that's not tough, and both physically playing tough at the point of contact, and then just mentally tough, where you just play in and play out every single possession of the game. You're dialed in and you give no possessions away, because you know that these games, the high leverage games versus the top teams, are going to be 1 or 2 possession games, and if you're weak, for a possession or two, then you're going to lose a close game. So, you challenge them. You just hope that they through osmosis of like the way we do things, the way our practice plans are set, that it'll show up for us on game night.
You play
And
on
what gives you the
Monday.
feeling that Jordan is ready to go, as you said? Like, something the way he carries himself?
Yeah, I mean the pedigree is there. You know, we felt like he was a sure thing as a recruit. Our eyes told us last year in practice when he would have days where, you know, where he would be the best guard on the court in practice. Maybe not consistently, but he would have days where he was the standout player with some really good players on the perimeter. So our eyes, trusting obviously our ability to develop a player, and you know, he's producing. I'm not concerned about him delivering for us this year, being a primary perimeter scorer. I'm more worried about that second guy that's got to get 12 or 13, and it not necessarily that they can't do it by just going and doing it and being the aggressor and wanting that responsibility.
Got a game coming up pretty quick on Monday already. It just,
Yeah.
does that make you nervous? I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
not nervous, but you obviously every coach would love more time.
Yeah, everyone wants a little bit more time. I think we've had enough though. I think we want to play. We want to play the games. Personally, for me, I've coached so many games now. Just going back 22 years as head coach. You're more relaxed every year, maybe slightly.
How can you tell?
You just ask me on Sunday. When I get home from practice and I'm like on the couch in fetal position.
How's
Danny-
Donovan filling into a role? Is he going to be able to come in and get some minutes and give the Donovan some reps?
Yeah, the scrimmages were good for him. I think it identified the things where he's going to have a chance to be successful for him, and then the areas where he's got to be a lot more dialed in. You know, playing well inside out. Obviously, it all starts with being an effective screener, being good enough in ball screen defense and in rim protection, and kind of being agile enough to be able to use the size and protect the rim, ball screen defense, be a good screener. Pre-catch post defense, pre-catch post offense. Like rolling and running to the front of the rim and posting up deep. There's a checklist of things you got to do when you're a freshman to make you playable, and then you go from playable to solid, and then you go from solid to to where Jordan is, where we're kind of good now. He's a go-to guy as a sophomore, so he's just going through the steps.
You touched on Sampson before, and how he's developing. And as he blooms here, is his confidence coming around too? And
Yeah.
just talk about the ceiling for him, because
Yeah.
there's a lot there.
High ceiling. I've said it about his talent before, and I got some good advice to stop talking about the NBA and my players, and so I'm not gonna prognosticate that way. But he's got a high ceiling. Alex being hurt helped him because he was able to play through mistakes in the first scrimmage where I might have pulled him quick, and so it was good for him. Just he's processing things quicker on the court, and once he can process things at the speed that you really need to just know what's going on, and he could just unleash his talent. I mean, he has as much physical ability as anyone that I've had here. So special type of ability.
You've touched on everything here, and as the season does approach, do you have more questions than answers going in? Where are you on that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's the stress of not having Andre to start things. Just because we were turning to three guys that we feel like these pieces fit beautifully around the three returners. So just losing that driving force, losing that tone setter, that true galvanizing leader, is what gives me angst. But we've got shooting. I think we're going to be able to score, and I think it's a deep team. It's deep at several positions. We just need people to grow up quickly. I mean, just with the transfers, that we want to hit the ground running, and we don't have time for a sit-out year and then a half a year to figure it out. We feel like we have enough talent that if we could just kind of get all these pieces working the right way, it's potentially our best team.
What do you want to see the most tonight, and how will you know when you see it?
Just the guys to play 30 minutes of what amounts to like live basketball with officials, and a little bit of a game day type of prep with the shoot around in the afternoon and a game at night, and get some jitters out, and just address the things that we've harped on for the last month and get ready for the season. Just see, as we've identified roles that players need to fill, to see them embracing that tonight on the court and playing to those roles.
You said you're getting rebounding. Where's it coming from?
Jordan's been great on the glass. Sampson's been great on the glass. Adama's been really strong on the glass. Tristan's been good on the defensive glass. That rebounding has been a real positive for us in the scrimmages. It's part of our. UConn's always been a top rebounding team, so maybe it's just the uniforms.
Coach, can you talk about Adama's impact on Sampson's progression this offseason?
Yeah, it's good because sometimes if I'm yelling at Sampson about something, losing my mind because of something that we just coached him a couple possessions on, Adama will grab him and then they'll talk French. I don't know what they're saying. Hopefully he's saying like, build his confidence, right? I think that's what he does for him. I think he sees the same things we see. Adama does in Sampson. He sees a guy with the tremendous talent and ability that just is learning and growing and maturing as a player, and he's going to have some rough games this year, and then he's going to have some unbelievable moments. If we all stay with it together, you're talking about a great player here.
Is it beneficial at all that this event got moved closer to the start of the season?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully, it drags out a couple more fans where it's a little bit, where the players feel a little bit of the butterflies in terms of performing in front of an audience. So, yeah, I think makes it a lot more real. It just made sense to where our calendar fell.
When you talk about all the things, guys, and getting into new roles, transfers, this, that, the other thing, how much familiarity with each other will solve this too as they get more comfortable in real live game action? Do you see these things solving themselves?
Yeah, it helps. I think every practice, I think every time we take the court, it's been good for them. I think it gets easier for them. I think it'll be easier for the group when Andre returns because, I think that things would progress a lot smoother with just the way he interacts with people. He has a unique presence in on a team and in a program, and like I've said, in a very throwback type of way to when that mantle of leadership really meant a lot to players in sports. So being a captain, I mean, he makes people around him better because of the way he leads, and I think guys will be more comfortable playing their game, being themselves. He's a unifier, and he builds up the people around him that he goes to war with on game night. And then if you're not with him, he doesn't want to be friends with anybody on any other team. I don't think he's like commenting on players on other teams' posts as he's getting ready for the season. So it's gonna suck when he leaves, man. Because
will you allow him to pistol Pete it a little bit this year or no?
I mean, this thing is set up for him when he comes back, I think, to really flourish. Just from an offensive standpoint, just with what Jordan's ready to do, and with what we have at center, and what we believe about our two young foremen, and that could also maybe play together some, and then the shooting at the other spots, just what he could potentially do with the spacing. It's a year for him hopefully to put it all together.
Is he still on target for maybe another 2-3 weeks or so?
Yeah, he looks good. I mean, he looks good. The injury, it's healing nice. He was in the smallest.
Brace, something like that? No, just flat. Wrap?
Bad job. So, split. The splint has gotten a lot smaller. He's jumped in like non-live defense. So yeah, he's chomping at the bit too. He's the most active person in practice. It's unbelievable.